Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In the previous video, I mentioned that we will be moving on to grammar. But before we do so, I want to give you an introduction on verbs and conjugating verbs in Spanish. Before we get into this video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the future videos. Verbs show an action or a state of being. In Spanish, each verb is conjugated to agree with the subject. To conjugate means to give a different form of a verb. For example, the first person singular has its own form of a verb. The first person plural has its own form of a verb. The third person singular has its own form of a verb, and so on. We are going to look at the verb hablar, which means to talk or to speak. Here is a chart that shows the conjugations or forms of the verb hablar based on the subject and subject pronouns. Since the subject has its own form of the verb, writing or saying the subject is optional because the conjugated verb indicates what the subject is. For example, you may say, yo hablo con mi madre, or hablo con mi madre. It does not matter which way you say it because either way, hablo is the conjugated verb for the first person singular. A verb also indicates the time of the action. It indicates whether the action is in the past, present, or future. It also indicates the mood of an action. For example, you could be making a statement, making a command, or expressing your feelings. Before a verb is conjugated, it is in its infinitive form. Each verb is conjugated based on its ending. The endings are AR, ER, and IR. Examples of AR verbs are hablar, which means to talk or to speak, jugar, which means to play, and escuchar, which means to listen. These verbs end in AR, which means they are AR verbs. Examples of ER verbs are leer, which means to read, comer, which means to eat, and comprender, which means to understand. These verbs end in ER, which means they are ER verbs. Examples of IR verbs are abrir, which means to open, compartir, which means to share, and pedir, which means to ask for. If you see a word in Spanish that ends in AR, ER, or IR, it's a verb in its infinitive form. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please be sure to comment down below. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel. In the next video, we will be conjugating AR verbs. So please be sure to subscribe so that you won't miss out on that video. See you in the next one. Bye!